Hello there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. And coming soon, I will be launching my membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com to request my Zoom room link or follow the Zoom room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 144. The title for today is Coaching Clarity, Defining Where You Are and Where You Want to Be. Just as an aside, I've been having ChatGPT write my article titles, just the title. I'm never going to let it write anything more than that, but I think it's doing a good job. So, Coaching Clarity, Defining Where You Are and Where You Want to Be. Recently, I was explaining coaching to a prospective new client, and thankfully, what I was saying to them was mostly what they thought coaching was, but only mostly. And they were pleasantly surprised to find out what coaching could really entail for them. And so, in the interest of my recently shared goal of explaining productivity coaching better this summer, that's where we're headed today. A few weeks ago, I talked about the Coachability self-test that I have available on my website for people to fill out if they're interested in learning more about themselves and about coaching. As I follow up with people after the self-test, I share my coaching intake form. It's a 2-page form, but my favorite questions are, what are your 2 biggest challenges? What do you want to have happen in this coaching relationship? Who is the powerful person you're becoming? Like, who is your future self? And how do you get in your own way? And that would be habits and behaviors that keep you from getting what you want. Now, as with the Coachability self-test, there are no right or wrong answers. Because working through coaching, working with a coach, working with me on your productivity and organizing, it starts with awareness. Awareness of where you are currently, awareness of how you want your life to be different, perhaps how you might like to be different, where you are today versus where you want to be. Coaching is the vehicle. It's the train. It's the way to get you there. I mentioned the gap a few weeks ago, the difference between where you are today and where you want to be. There's no recrimination that there's a gap. It's not an indication that you're somehow less than or that you've done anything wrong or even not done something. So let's, park the negative self-talk at the door and agree that every one of us can seek growth and progress from wherever we are. But we have to know where we are and where we want to be. When we talk about coaching, we have an overarching goal for the process. And then we also show up with topics per session that move us towards that goal. Imagine with me, depending on your learning style, maybe it's a vision in your mind or a feeling that you want to have, or maybe it's a tangible item that you want to achieve, like an award. But imagine with me what reminds you of your goal and where you want to be and what you want to achieve, right? That's the goal. And then we figure out what the steps are, the things we need to do or learn or accomplish to have that vision or feeling or thing. We can ask, what sorts of supports do we need? What tools? What do we need to learn about? What is it that can get us from where we are to where we want to be? And those become our session topics. So I hold on to those goals with you, and then I can hold on to the topics with you too. And that is your coaching agenda. And in my conversations with my clients, I always have their coaching agenda in mind for them. As an aside, and I'm actually teaching time management this afternoon, so we will be doing goal setting. But I always tell them this as well. If you have issues with the word goals, call them something else. I don't really care. I had someone say to me just the other day that they didn't like the word goals. They didn't think they had goals. And I asked them if they had milestones in life they'd like to achieve. And they said, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a goal, my friend, right? Call it whatever you want. So again, we figure out where we are. We think about where we want to be in life someday. We recognize that those 2 points are different. And then we think about how to get from here to there. Sounds simple, right? When I was writing this yesterday, I scrapped the second half of this article. So this is all new since its original inception. I have described my writing process to all of you before. I verbally record my content. I have it transcribed into digital text so that I can write an article. Then I read the article, adding personal flair and info, and that's the podcast. And I'm saying all of this because this article was getting ridiculously long, and so I edited it like crazy. So instead of all those other things I thought I wanted to write about, let's make this all about you, as it should be. So coaching or not, working with me or not, let's ask some questions. What do you want to see in your life? If you could wave a wand, what would you change? If a genie offered you 3 wishes, what would they be? And no, you don't get to wish for more wishes. Now, I can't grant millions of dollars or dream homes or fame and fortune. I'm a productivity coach, right? So let's keep it in our lane. Those questions from my intake form, let's think about those. What do you want to have happen in this coaching relationship? Who is the powerful person you're becoming? Who is your future self? What are your 2 biggest challenges? And how do you get in your own way? And from my recent article, Redefining Typical, what challenges do you repeatedly encounter? Or what problems do you repeatedly have to solve, right? Those could all be possible coaching agenda goals. Now, breaking that down, recent example of my client goals these are from some of my clients. One of them was to make healthy and long-lasting changes to improve their quality of life. That sounds pretty great. One was to manage my home and personal life better so that I can focus on work while I'm at work and grow in my profession. One was to get more organized in our home to set better examples for my children and teach my kids how to be organized. Recently, I'm working with a client who wants to be more productive given their new ADHD diagnosis. I have a client who is making adjustments to better function given their recent and now chronic medical issues. Or get more productive with home and work to make more time for my hobby or potential side hustle. I have a client that I worked with to improve their decision-making skills because they feel stuck. I have a client who wants to get better at disconnecting work time from personal time. Earlier in the year, I had a client who was getting their house ready for a new puppy. So that was mostly an organizing client, but there was some coaching that went on as well. I also have a client, actually I often work with clients who are working through upcoming remodels or moves and identifying steps and tasks and the order and timeline for those steps and tasks to make that project happen. Going back for 4 or 5 years now, I had a client who reached out to me because they needed to manage anxiety better in the time of COVID by getting their affairs in order and getting better at finishing projects. And then my favorite is to set goals and use them to better prioritize my work from day to day. So I listed all of those because I'm curious, did you see yourself in any of those examples? And once we know the goal, some of those coaching session topics might be, what tools do I have? For example, to manage my to-do list, and how do I choose which one to use? Or who are the supportive people in my life that can help me make the changes I want to make? Or I think working on my morning routine would be a good place to start my wellness journey. That was actually just this morning. Or what are some routines I can complete or habits I can create that would help me reach my goals? Or what do I need to learn more about? Right? So all of those are kind of subtopics underneath that broader goal. And those are some of the things that we could talk about from session to session. So here is a very specific and also completely fictional example. Let's say your goal in productivity is to level up your business and increase sales by 20% in the next 6 months. And as I also said in a recent article, I don't need to know your industry to help you with that. This is a productivity goal and it's a SMART goal. So it's SMART, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound Did I mention I'm teaching time management this afternoon? But if this was your goal, as we meet every week or every 2 weeks or every month for our sessions, you would identify session topics that would help you meet that goal, and we would work through them together. So some of those topics could be, hey, motivation is sometimes a struggle for me. How can I keep motivated? And what makes this goal important to me now? I think knowing that would help me stay motivated. Or maybe a topic is, I think I need to create a budget, but I've never been successful at using one before. What are habits and routines I can create to help me check in on and use that budget successfully? Maybe one of the topics is, who's on the team? And how do we all work toward that goal together? Maybe it's about self-care. I know that taking on this goal will mean I'm going to be working longer hours. How do I incorporate better self-care to help me succeed and avoid burnout? Or maybe they just need to talk through what needs to be included in my income statement so I can get a better idea of what 20% in sales would be. So this week, the goal was coaching clarity, defining where you are and where you want to be. So I just wanted to walk you through the overarching goal process and then those session topics as well, so you can see better how coaching works and how it might work for you. Support around getting things done is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you next week.